Hello and welcome to Sooner Sports Pad. We're live from Studio A at the University of Oklahoma, ready to talk all things OU athletics. I'm your host, Kaylee Jo Hommel, and joined with Abby Williams and Britton Ross. Now, the only 10 Oklahoma saw was losing by 10. We'll recap OU football's SEC opener.
And we have some special guests here tonight. Two OU volleyball stars are in the studio. We'll have a live interview later in the show.
Plus, a new quarterback has taken the reins for the Sooners. We'll tell you all you need to know before OU's first SEC road game.
Now, let's start with a recap of what went down last time out on Owen Field. Even Ben didn't know what was coming. We're going to start in the second. Jackson Arnold's already thrown an interception, and it's tied 3-3, and Tennessee takes the lead with this 66-yard touchdown pass. But the defense does respond. Robert Spears-Jennings forces the volunteer fumble, and it's recovered by Ethan Downs. Sooner ball. But what happens the very next play? Jackson Arnold fumbles, and he fumbles again. 19-3 Tennessee at the half. Now we're going to take it to the fourth, and Michael Hawkins Jr. is in as quarterback, and he shows he knows a thing or two about Sooner magic, literally flipping into the end zone. The play is called short, but then Jackson Arnold hands off to Javonte Barnes for the second Sooners touchdown. Final score 25-15 Tennessee. Now, the defense was the star of the show once again. I covered Saturday's game and have the defensive breakdown. Take a look. Is OU football ready for the SEC? Well, the defense surely is. The Volunteers have averaged 639 offensive yards in their first 3 games, and the Sooners were able to hold them to nearly half of that with 345.
You know, I think that the Tennessee's offense obviously gives you a lot of challenges. The way they space things out, they got great players, give you structural issues. And I thought our guys really attacked that this week in practice and in the game. You know, some of that showed up. I thought that we, handled the tempo really well early in the game and, set us up to have some success.
Young guys, they responded phenomenally well. There wasn't no complaining and none of that. Every time the defensive economy, we responded. That's our job. I think from the bottom to the top of the roster, we did a great job of responding.
I think it was a really good performance by the defense. We still left some meat on the bones, but for the most part, I think we did really good.
Defense played really well for the most part tonight. Would love to have caused another turnover or two, but our guys played with tremendous effort. Thought they had a great plan.
Now, it's only the beginning for the Sooners. They continue their SEC slate with a road game against Auburn. Reporting from Gaylord Memorial Stadium for Sooner Sports Pad, I'm Kaylee Jo Hommel.
Well, thanks, Kaylee. The Sooner defense was shining bright. They held Tennessee to just 345 total offensive points. Now, prior to Saturday, the Vols offense averaged 639 yards a game. That's almost half. And they're consistent. The Sooners recorded 9 tackles for loss, matching their season-high record they set against Temple.
The OU offense was offensive to watch until a fresh face made an impact for the Sooners. Brent Venables announced on his coach's show on Monday that the true freshman Michael Hawkins Jr. will start this week at Auburn. Sooner Sports Pad reporter Aiden Tyler has the report on the newfound energy.
I'm here in the end zone somewhere Jackson Arnold did not make it to. On Saturday night, the sophomore quarterback was replaced by freshman quarterback Michael Hawkins Jr. after completing less than 50% of his passes for only 54 yards. Arnold was responsible for 3 turnovers, and Hawkins came in and provided the OU offense with a spark.
It's nothing different, just keeping your head down, going to work every week. Nothing big change, not a big change in a week with the offense. Just keeping our heads down and just leading as a quarterback and just getting the team around you. I felt pretty comfortable just getting those drives going and then finally getting points on the board and then just capitalizing on all of it.
Whatever the coaches choose is really going to be a decision. So I don't think a lot of people are talking about it too much. We have 2 talented guys and 2 great quarterbacks. We just got a freshman and a sophomore. So I think that's the only thing. But they're both great and they're both competitive. So whatever the coaches decide.
At quarterback, evaluate that and figure out who the best guy is to, help us get to number 4, find our 4th win and put everything we got into getting ready, dust ourselves off and go right back at it. We got a good enough team to still have a really good year. You got a lot of football in front of us, but we got a lot of improvement to make.
And the Sooners' offense will have to be better as they hit the road for their first ever SEC road game against Auburn on Saturday. Reporting from Owen Field, Aiden Tyler, Sooner Sports Pad.
Thanks, Aiden. The offense was so bad Saturday night that they gave up a safety for the first time since 2010. And 15 points versus a conference opponent at home is the lowest total since a 48-14 blowout loss against Baylor in 2014. And now the Sooners may be starting a true freshman in a stadium that's said to be cursed for opposing quarterbacks. That's not a recipe for success.
The Sooners are rising up to the challenge of their next rival. When we return, it's not the eye of the tiger, it's eyes on the Tigers. We'll take a look at OU football's next fray coming up next. The Sooners travel to Auburn for the first time and take on the Tigers for the first time outside of bowl season. Now, last week, the Hogs won in Jordan-Hare by 10 points. Head coach Brent Venables knows their schedule is only heating up in the SEC.
They got a great opponent, and I say that, great history and tradition in Auburn University, what Coach Freeze has been able to do throughout his career. Obviously, he's cut his teeth on really good offenses, and they've actually played really well other than turning the ball over. The challenges are only going to become greater.
Now, it seemed to be injury upon injury against Tennessee. Wide receivers Nick Anderson and Deion Burks both left the game, alongside freshman running back Taylor Tatum. And defensive back Kendall Dolby was carted off the field after suffering an ankle injury. The official injury report has not been released yet. Now, looking ahead, considering the injury bug is going around, new starting true freshman quarterback, and overall offensive issues, what do the Sooners need to do to secure their first SEC win on the Plains?
Well, the Tigers are also dealing with some QB controversy, but neither option is very promising. Senior Peyton Thorne started the season as the Tigers quarterback, but after 4 interceptions against Cal, freshman Hank Brown took the wheel. As of now, Auburn hasn't announced a starter, so OU's defense isn't sure who to prepare for just yet. But while the Tigers struggle under center, OU linebackers aren't counting out their opponents this week.
A really good team. Really good team. Their running backs are really good. Got a couple receivers. They got problems just like we got problems.
Auburn's a great offense. They have a great quarterback, great running backs. Young receiver, number 8, Comey is a great guy. And the other receivers as well, they're a great team. And we're ready to play them like they're the best team in the country.
Auburn has the 62nd ranked defense, while the Sooners' offense is all the way down at 119. But there's still a path to victory for the Sooners. Auburn is dead last in turnover margin. The Sooners should have some short fields to work with, and they'll have to take advantage of that. Wide receiver Jacquez Petaway led the Sooners with 79 yards on 3 receptions Saturday night, and he said that having a new quarterback is all about trust.
Me and Mike, we've been close ever since he got here back in December. And we just it's been an ongoing relationship, and we just got really close together. Being on the field with him, it just felt like another day of practice. And I know he's gonna place the ball where he needs to be at, and I just need to get my head around, just catch the ball, get the job.
Now, the last time a true freshman QB won on the road in the SEC was Bo Nix, 2019 against Mississippi State, 56-23. Despite being the favorite, the odds are not in Michael Hawkins Jr.'s favor. I think the Tigers defend Jordan-Hare.
No way. Auburn's dealing with a similar situation under center, but combined, the Tiger QBs have thrown 8 picks, while Oklahoma only has 3 total. Sooners get their first SEC win on the road.
Well, like I said earlier, the Sooners have to create havoc and force multiple turnovers, take advantage of short fields, and they'll have a good chance to win on Saturday.
Now, don't go anywhere, because we're serving up an interview with some OU athletes. OU volleyball is in the house, and no, not McCaslin Fieldhouse, here in Studio A. Stick with us for some court conversations. We're back with OU volleyball. We have Alexis Shelton and Lydia Martin sitting down with us tonight. Welcome to Sooner Sports Pad. Now, Shelton is a junior from Charlotte, North Carolina. The outside hitter has recorded 146 kills so far this season. Martin is a graduate student from Anderson, South Carolina, and she's already notched 44 total blocks this season. Abby, Britton, take it away.
Well, thank you both so much for being here. We're so excited to have you. First off, for both of you, Lydia, you're a grad student. Alexis, you're a junior now. What's it like being just leaders on the team, not just in stats, but to other players?
Yeah, I'll take that first. I think importantly, when you have a team that has some older girls but some younger, just kind of taking them under their wing, like our wings really, and You know, for volleyball especially, like nutrition has been a big important topic on our team this year of just are you fueling your body with the right things just so when you play long games like you're not exhausted at the end, but also just responsibility as like schoolwork is important. Like you can't be an athlete if you're not participating in school or going to class. So even when we're tired, are we getting those things done?
Yeah, Alexis, what about you?
Just coming from a freshman year, being on notoriously a young team, it's really important to have good leadership on the team. We talk a lot about recovery and making sure we're getting enough sleep, and as Lydia said, being nutrition and just being healthy and ready to play on the court.
Lydia, you were named to the Team USA Collegiate National Team. What was that like?
Yeah, I was so nervous when we both went to the tryouts, and I had never been in that environment before. But I think just leaning into failure too, like the first day I did not play well at all, and then as the days progressed, you know, I got better, and then I got invited to play and train this summer, and just meeting with girls from across the country who were playing at such a high level was just a cool experience to see what are other programs like, how do you guys push yourselves to learn, and we all want to play pro one day, so that was kind of the door to get there, and I just try to take what I learned there and bring it back here as well. Yeah.
Well, for both of you again, SEC play starts this week. What are your thoughts on just the competition level?
Personally, I'm very excited. The SEC is notoriously known to being a higher level of competition. There's more ranked teams, there's better teams than in the Big 12, and honestly, I think we're just ready and prepared to kind of face that challenge this year and kind of be the underdogs.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we've been pushing ourselves in practice just to stick to what we know and being OU volleyball, and we've kind of defined that ourselves, and each week in the game, like we just double check, like are we being that? If not, let's turn it around and continue to committing to that.
Alexis, you're an aviation major. What is it like balancing that level of schoolwork alongside athletics?
It's definitely stressful. I mean, being a student athlete, period, it's hard to find that time management and balancing being a student and being an athlete. And then just being in aviation, it's just kind of finding all the times you can to just study up and get ready to fly in the plane.
Absolutely. And y'all are from North and South Carolina. That's quite a ways away from OU. What was so influential in your decision to come here?
You can start.
Me personally, when I took my visit here, it just automatically felt like home. It was so inviting and just so comforting, and I really just got a feeling like this is just where I belong, and I knew from then I was supposed to be a Sooner.
For me, when I decided to transfer from Liberty, I was really looking for a school that I could just grow as a person. Liberty set me up well, and I wanted to pursue social work, and so that's what I came here to do, is get my master's in social work. And then along with that, just playing in the Big 12, is just the competition was so much higher and allowed me to grow even more than I had the 3 years I was at Liberty.
And then again, for both of you, what kind of activities do you guys do as a team to kind of help team bonding? What do you guys do for fun outside of volleyball?
It's harder during season. I will say, like when we're in the hotel, we try to hang out, go on walks, or get ice cream or something if we earned it. But prior to season, preseason, I guess is still now, but we took a cabin trip, and it was so much fun, just taking a few days to get away, just team bonding, going to the lake, or just walking out, getting to know each other a little bit more.
Oh, that's awesome, Alexis.
Yeah, I was gonna say the cabin trip. The cabin trip was such a inviting experience. We've never had anything like that, at least in my time in this program. And just being able to just be with all the girls in an environment where we were all just kind of be able to be free and be loose was actually really nice. And we all kind of got to know each other outside of the court.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I feel like that's so important for just as a team. Well, thank you both so much for being here and sitting through this interview with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks again, Alexis and Lydia. OU Volleyball returns to McCaslin Fieldhouse this Thursday for their first SEC match as they face the Florida Gators. When we come back, we'll cover everything from the field to the court to the diamond. Stay with us because we have so much more in store. We're back, and I'm now sitting here with our audience. How are we doing over here, y'all? Now, don't worry, we didn't forget about you this week. We have a question for y'all, actually. How do you feel about Hawkins as starting QB?
Well, Hawkins, Arnold, we don't need to know the names. They need to know my name. Brent, call me up, Brent. Call me up. Trust me, I can throw it far. But Hawkins, you know what? Mr. Eagle, he can do a business. Trust me. I believe you, Brent. And Hawkins, Arnold.
Alrighty, well, that is all the football that we have for now, because I'm kicking it over to the first squad to win an SEC match on campus, OU soccer. The Sooners said howdy to the Aggies on Sunday and took the game in College Station, winning by 1 goal. On deck, another away game as they head into the Tigers' Den Thursday and face the Bayou Bengals, LSU.
Well, I want to talk about OU volleyball. I mean, they're in the building with us right now. The Sooners are coming off a big sweep on the road against Kansas State. Our guest tonight led the charge. Alexis Shelton had 18 kills, and Lydia Martin had 8 as a team. They owned the net, racking up 9 blocks and 49 kills. This win puts the Sooners in great position for SEC play when they host number 15 Florida on Thursday.
Let's go with Natty Patty. The 8-time national champion OU softball team starts their fall ball slate next week. Coming fresh off their 4th straight national championship, the Sooners get a new challenge in the SEC this season, but it all starts in the fall. They start with the annual Battle Series on October 2nd, while also facing Texas A&M Commerce, Seminole State, 2 matches with ULM and MACU. The road to 5 straight Natties starts now.
Now, when we come back, the competition is going to be here on set. Our 2 anchors will face off, debating all things Sooner sports for my favorite segment. You won't want to miss it. It's time for Face Off. Our 2 anchors will go head-to-head debating all things Sooner sports. And our in-studio audience will pick a winner. Our anchors are currently tied at 1-1, so who's going to take the lead tonight? And first, we're going to discuss football MVPs. And my MVP isn't a Sooner, it's Ben Herbstreit. I had the honor of meeting the fluffiest guy on the field, and I can confirm he is super soft. Abby, it's impossible to top this top dog, but who are you picking?
Well, Kaylee, how can I compete with Ben? I mean, he is wonderful. But I want to go with the top dog on the defense, Robert Spears-Jennings, because this is the guy who registered a sack and a forced fumble on the same play. Not to mention, he had a career and game-high 13 tackles. He's making the plays, being a leader, and hyping up his teammates the whole game.
My MVP is Javonte Barnes. We all saw how bad that offensive line played on Saturday, and yet he still scored 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing and 1 receiving. The offensive line was so bad, in fact, that Barnes has scored only the 3rd rushing touchdown by a running back all year. They're going to need more explosive plays from these running backs going forward in the SEC.
Now, fans were chanting, we want Hawkins against Tennessee, and Hawkins they'll be getting Saturday versus Auburn. Britton, what was Michael Hawkins' play of the game last week?
Well, obviously, I'm going to go with the only passing touchdown of the night, and it just so happens to be the first of his career. This 2-yard touchdown pass to Javonte Barnes cut the Vols' lead to 13 points, giving Sooner fans some hope that they could still pull it out. But the hole that Jackson Arnold dug was just too deep.
Well, I'm going for style points here. Let's go with the coolest play of the game. Michael Hawkins Jr. in the red zone, and he takes matters into his own hand, flipping into the air and into the end zone. This was the play that set the Sooners up for a 1-yard touchdown run. I want to see that again this weekend.
Now, with 7 SEC games left and 1 in the L column, there's a whole lot more football to be played. How many conference games do you think Oklahoma can take the W in?
I'm going to say 5 wins. Now, I know it may seem high, but hear me out. Harold Perkins Jr. is out for LSU. That's their star linebacker. They only lose to Ole Miss and Alabama. Yes, they beat Texas in October. Keep in mind the Sooners faced a number 6 team on Saturday. Without those turnovers, they had a real shot at winning.
Well, Abby, 5 wins seems high because it is. Let's come back down to earth just a little bit. Don't forget they still have to go to LSU. Tiger Stadium is nicknamed Death Valley for a reason. It's where teams go for their season to die. I'm with you that they'll beat Texas. I'll give you that. But I think they'll end up with 4 SEC wins, which is still a great first year in the SEC.
I'm going to have to disagree with the both of y'all. I don't think the Sooners can beat the number 1 team. But our last topic of the night, Sooner fans will be watching OU's first SEC away game. But what else should they be watching out for?
This one was easy. We've been talking about the new Sooners quarterback all night long, so let's throw it back a bit. 2 former Sooner quarterbacks will face off in the NFL this weekend. Former Sooner and Heisman winner Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Bucks host Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. The Bucks are coming off a 26-7 loss at the Broncos, while the Eagles shut down the Saints in a 15-12 win in New Orleans. This should be a fun one.
Yeah, Britton, we've been talking about the quarterback situation because he's a true freshman. Look out for the new guy under center. Michael Hawkins Jr. will be starting his first game, and he's bound to have a few bumps in the road. While Oklahoma coaching staff ultimately decided Hawkins was getting the job, it doesn't mean he'll be perfect.
Alrighty, if you think that Abby is our face-off winner, let me hear you. Okay. Pretty good, pretty good. But if you think it was Britton, make some noise. Well, if I could choose our face-off winner, I would choose Ben, but I think that our audience chose Britton. Thanks so much for watching Sooner Sports Pad. For Abby Williams and Britton Ross, I'm Kaylee Jo Hommel. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Good night.